Welcome to the It's in Queens podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Simmons, and this is the only podcast that focuses on Queens. This podcast comes to you each week thanks to the Queens Economic Development Corporation and the Queens Tourism Council. They work endlessly to showcase our borough as a destination with great experiences, cultural gems, opportunities for everyone who lives here, who works here, or is visiting from near or far. One of the things that makes Queens so special is the sheer range of culture that you can experience without ever having to leave the borough. On any given week, really on any given day, you can spend time with contemporary art, film, music, theater, dance, history, science, or traditions brought here from communities around the globe. And of course, we have major cultural destinations like the Queens Museum, the Museum of the Moving Image, MoMA PS1, the Noguchi Museum, Flushing Town Hall, Queens Theater, and so many others that give us a reason to keep exploring different neighborhoods. But culture in Queens isn't limited to what we might think of as a traditional museum or performance hall. Some of the more interesting work is happening in flexible, community-driven spaces where an art exhibition can sit alongside a concert, a workshop, an experimental performance, or something that's hard to put into just one category. That brings us to Culture Lab LIC in Long Island City. It's a nonprofit art center created to serve as an arts and culture umbrella for Western Queens, supporting artists while bringing a wide mix of programming to the public. Culture Lab operates out of a converted warehouse with gallery space, a theater, classrooms, and a large outdoor venue. Throughout the year, it presents visual art and music and theater, film, festivals, so many things, community events, and programs that give artists the time and space to develop new work. And coming up this weekend, Culture Lab is hosting something that really captures the spirit of experimentation, the New York Immersive Invitational. For anyone new to immersive performance, the idea is that you are not necessarily sitting back and watching from a traditional audience seat. You may be moving through the experience, interacting with performers, or becoming part of the world the artists have created. And the public showcases take place on Sunday, August 23rd, when audiences get to see what the teams have created under that intense deadline. To tell us more about the Invitational, about the creative process behind it, and about the broader work happening at Culture Lab LIC, I recently spoke with Tess Howsam, Culture Lab LIC's Artistic Director. Here's our conversation. Tess Howsam, welcome back to the It's in Queens podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Jeff. It's always a pleasure to speak with you.
So, for listeners who may not have tuned into an earlier episode quite some time ago that I did with you, talk a little about your path in the arts and your role as Artistic Director of Culture Lab, and of course, what first drew you to this creative community in Long Island City.
All right. Well, I guess we have to start at the very beginning. I started a interdisciplinary immersive theater company back in 2012 called the Exquisite Corpse Company. And our mission, much like the namesake that we derived from, was collective assembly. So I worked with artists of varying mediums, fine artists, film artists, playwrights, actors, musicians, dancers, you get the picture. And we would build these amazing, incredible, immersive worlds blending the mediums. I joke at Culture Lab a lot because Culture Lab is a stunning multimedia, art space. In a renovated warehouse in Long Island City that my indie beginnings throwing illegal warehouse parties and art pop-ups prepared me for the transition to legal warehouse art parties and pop-ups. So my role at Culture Lab is really a joy and a huge privilege to be able to facilitate. As the artistic director, I curate our fine art gallery season, which means selecting through the proposals that come in, what shows we're going to do. Also, navigating my own shows inside of the season. And then also looking at our performing arts season, what dance and theater shows are going to come through our space. And also I lead our performance artist lab. So we have a 9-month long program that we run every year called the New Works Lab. And the artists selected for that come on board and are given 9 months to create a new piece of work and then to birth it after those 9 months at Culture Lab as a part of our New Works Festival. So I work with these artists and have the real joy of getting to see the creative process as their quote unquote art doula, to help them through this being of producing something very fresh, very new. So that's something I do, and then I also pick our jazz series. We do free jazz every Friday, so I curate the jazz musicians you see on that stage. Um, and those are mostly through open calls and submission processes. And then also we have a free outdoor summer concert series that's May through October on Saturdays and Sundays. And I also curate the artists you see on those stages. So there's a lot of variety, and the real challenge that you know, I the Culture Lab's mission is rooted in is making sure that we are not only an accessible space. Most of our programming is offered for free or, severely discounted for the most part to make sure that everyone has access to the arts, but also showing a representation of both our local artists and our community members, and also bridging this gap to reflect the international community. And one of those initiatives has been a new fine art program that I've been very passionate about, which is right now working title art exchange. And we've done it so far with Slovakia, with Italy, and we're working on a collaboration with Sweden. We just did Pakistan. So also trying to, represent our community in Queens. We're all the world's borough. So we want to make sure that Culture Lab is representing that as well.
And what's coming up, why I wanted to definitely have you on again, is the New York Immersive Invitational. That's designed for both longtime immersive theater fans and newcomers. Talk a little, Tess, about what makes a performance immersive and how does it change the relationship between artists and audience members?
Excellent, excellent point, Jeff. Yes, I'm so thrilled that Culture Lab is hosting this project. The Immersive Invitational has been going on in LA for a few years, and this is the first time it's coming to New York City. So I hope everybody is as excited as I am and are snatching up those tickets. To your question, what makes something immersive and the line between audience and actor or performer? Um, you know, Coming from this world originally with my own company, I found that immersive storytelling is a really rich world building effort. The audience is entering inside of sets. You are moving like really right next to the actor through these worlds. And you become such an integral part of the storytelling and are sort of that unknown other performer that's going to enter the space. Back when I was directing immersive theater and we would be staging, like where blocking for an immersive show is very different. And this is not what we're talking about today, but um, I would always say to my actors, roughly you're going to go over here, right? And we're going to look at this and keeping sight lines and all this. But I was like, there's always going to be that unknown because you don't know who's coming through that door, who's going to be sitting in that room with you. Maybe an audience member is going to, want to sit at the table with you. Maybe that audience member is not going to want to sit at the table with you. So, um, immersive shows are constantly and consistently alive, I would say. There is no safe sitting in your seats when you go to an immersive show, right? You can't really tune out because you are literally inside of the story. So I really do feel like there's a huge amount of presence involved in both the performer side and the audience side.
How did this event come to Culture Lab, and why is Queens the right place for this next installment?
Yeah, Culture Lab. Much like our name, right? We are a lab. We love to generate new work and support new initiatives. And So something like this is perfect for our space. Um, it's also great and helpful that Culture Lab has many unique nooks and crannies of our space, right? We are a sprawling warehouse venue with many little secret coves that are begging for a story to be created inside of them. And so it seemed like a no-brainer that the Invitational would come to Culture Lab and utilize this resource, which is space and unique space. I also think that, part of my mission and I would argue many arts institutions in Queens is to elevate the profile of Queens as an artist destination and as this naturally occurring, art neighborhood. We're full of artists of all kinds, and I feel like we get a little overlooked as the borough for the arts that really is unwarranted and unfair. So I'm excited that this show will be coming to Queens and showing audiences from around New York City and beyond how dynamic Queens as a borough is.
So, talk a little about what actually takes place in the New York Immersive Invitational. I understand it's five New York City creators, but I really would love to get a sense of what audiences can expect to see.
Yeah. Well, I guess, that's the thing is we're not sure what they're going to create. They will have just, a limited amount of time. So similar to the traditional 24-hour theater festival, right? Where a playwright is given a certain amount of time to write a script, and then the actors are given a certain amount of time to rehearse the script with the director, and then it's born. This will be similar in format, but it's different and it's unique because it is an immersive uh, version of this sort of format. Um, I think what you can expect to see is a lot of experimentation. You can see some new ideas and processes being worked out in real time. Um, some of these projects or these inspired drafts of ideas from this, initiative might go on to become, the next Sleep No More initiative. You don't know, right? It just takes that little spark and creative moment. So, as an audience member, you will travel to these different locations throughout Culture Lab where the different companies of artists will have created their unique short immersive playlet, and you will experience that, and then you will travel between them all. Hopefully, there will be a little bit of downtime in between each piece. I'm sure there will be. You can grab a drink, bring a bevy with you, go to the restroom, and just get to see really the beginnings of creative initiatives. One of the, oh, so sorry, I just want to tell you that a couple of the companies who are participating have actually presented immersive work at Culture Lab. So, you know, coming from the immersive background to Culture Lab, it's really been a personal mission of mine to hold space for immersive theatrical creators because it's such a niche, type of creativity that does take a lot of space and a lot of play uh, as well.
So, part of the appeal is seeing
Yep.
ambitious work at its earliest stage. And I'm curious, what do artists gain from this compressed process and the immediate audience response?
So if you have ever been to an immersive show, you know that there might be a moment when an actor takes your hand or has you engage with them and you do something together, right? Like you write something, maybe you burn something, maybe I don't know, something else happens, who knows. But we call these like play tests in the immersive field when you're testing out something with an audience member, sort of like a dress rehearsal of sorts, right? But you don't know how, unlike when you're doing Romeo and Juliet, you're testing out your dress rehearsal to make sure that the balcony doesn't fall off, right? But in immersive, you are testing to see what the engagement is like from the audience. How do they respond to your invitation to play? Or not respond. And that can be hugely invaluable, you know, as a study for creators to take back with them to the drawing room to be like, well, that was great. Or, oh my gosh, they just did not, nobody got that. They just kept walking, you know. So it's a it's a huge gift for performers and immersive creatives to have time to get to explore these ideas.
So at the very beginning of this episode, you talked about everything that you do. I'm sure you've got a lot else that's on the horizon, and I'd love for our listeners to know beyond the New York Immersive Invitational, what else is coming up that you want to talk about that you want them to know about, so that and then we're going to make sure you share the website because I want people to know where to go.
Oh yes, thank you for that. So yes, there's always something happening at Culture Lab. We just opened Hidden Stories, the secret language of still life and fluorography. It's on view in the front gallery through September 27th. I'm biased as the curator, but I would recommend that everyone come out and see it. It's free admission. Just add it onto your day. We also have the concert series continuing through October, so definitely come out. And I will also flag that we have our annual gala coming up on September 16th, and early bird tickets are still on sale for that. That is a great way to give back to our space, to keep programs free. It is one of the major ticketed events of the year, but it does help sustain us throughout the entire year. So if folks are free, it's a Wednesday night. The theme is Garden of Creativity. So, take that, run with it, come in your best florals. I'll be there showing up in mine. And then the other thing I would earmark for guests, especially if they're interested in new work, new creative processes, flag that November and December we have our New Works Festival. And this is where the artists in residence will present their shows. So, for instance, this year's theme is definitely rooted in mythology and gods. We have a retelling of classic Greek mythos. We have Indian and Chinese gods, and even the Christian god as well in there. So it's going to be very, 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 very exciting, very, very cool, ranging from musical to dance to theater. So puppetry, come out.
And the first place people should go if they want to get tickets to any of these events and also find out more about your mission and other programming.
Go to culturelablic.org.
You can't forget that. Tess Howsam, I want to thank you so much for appearing here on this week's It's in Queens podcast.
Thank you so much, Jeff, for having me.
That was my conversation with Tess Howsam, Artistic Director at Culture Lab LIC. And the Immersive Invitational is only one example of the way that Culture Lab mixes disciplines and gives artists room to try something new. Culture Lab also invests in the artists behind the work. Its New Works Lab gives performing artists free rehearsal and performance space, along with peer review opportunities as they develop original projects that culminate in the New Works Festival later in the year. And there's an educational and community side to the organization as well. Culture Lab for Kids has included interactive programs combining music and movement, storytelling and art, while Culture Lab's community partnerships have supported efforts such as school workshops, gallery as a classroom programs, art tours, and opportunities for young people to engage directly with creative work. So whether you're looking for a gallery show, a concert, a performance, a family program, or something experimental, it's worth keeping an eye on what's happening there. You can find the latest schedule at culturelablic.org. And Culture Lab, by the way, is just one part of a packed calendar across Queens. If you're looking for something else to do this month or next, well, we have you covered. That's where Rob Mackay comes in. Rob's with the Queens Economic Development Corporation and the Queens Tourism Council. And every week he tracks down a few of the events, performances, festivals, and other experiences worth putting on your calendar. Let's hear what Rob has for us this week.
Jeffrey, how are you? We have something great coming back to Queens this weekend. It's actually the 13th annual World of Orchids show at the Queens Botanical Gardens. It's both days, Saturday and Sunday, and it's a tremendous mix of, first of all, orchids everywhere, and they are for purchase on Sunday. but all kinds of related workshops, food, flower art, tea ceremonies, and other things. The Taiwanese government actually works with the Queen's Botanical Garden on the event because orchids are very important to Taiwan. They've been importing them or exporting them for years, and apparently Taiwan has the perfect soil and weather for our orchids to grow. The whole thing begins Saturday at 10 o'clock, 10 to 5, both days, Saturday and Sunday at the Botanic Gardens. I've been there with my mother, and we loved it. All right, thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Rob. And once again, that's only a small slice of what you can find around Queens in the days ahead. One of the best parts of living in or visiting this borough is that there is always another neighborhood to explore, another performance you can catch, another restaurant to try, or another creative space you may not have known was there. To keep up with the full calendar, head to itsinqueens.com. You can find more ideas for things to see and places to go and events happening throughout the borough. And for business resources, programs, and news from the Queens Economic Development Corporation, visit queensny.org and make sure to sign up for their newsletter while you're on that website. If something you discover this week catches your eye, take a photo and share it with us on social media. Use the hashtag #It'sInQueens. We always like seeing the borough through your perspective. And maybe this week, take a chance on something a little different, a new gallery, a new performance, or an experience you can't exactly describe until you've been part of it. Queens has plenty of opportunities to surprise you. I'm your host, Jeff Simmons, and thank you for listening, and I'll see you next week on the It's in Queens podcast.